And in case this doesn't get edited out, Mason needs us to do a big dramatic moment when we're adding a video that we don't have currently. So I'm doing that dramatic moment. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 3 of Mostly Peaceful with Dan and Chris is now live on YouTube. We're on the Supertalk 99.7 WTN YouTube page. I say this often. If we just had 100 dedicated listeners create 10 to 15 fake profiles on YouTube and subscribe, we'd be over 10,000 in no time.
Absolutely. Take it. Fake or not, we're all here for it.
Dan Mandis to my left. My name is Chris Hand. What's up, Dan?
You know, we were spending a lot of time on the news during our radio talk shows on Supertalk 99.7. Everything in the news seems to be looking backwards, right? We've got, did Obama set up Donald Trump after the 2016 election? Everybody's looking at Epstein as well. Donald Trump has so many victories. It's almost a shame that there is so much looking back. But I think, Chris, these stories really do matter.
No, the stories matter. And I think when it comes to the Obama stuff, it feels like to me like this is something he's been wanting to do for a while. I mean, you remember even at the end of his first term, we caught them all. I caught the swamp. It seemed like this was going to be something that he was going to roll into motion term 2 regardless. And since Tulsi's gotten in there, she's been working on this.
I think she's gotten, this is why they didn't want Tulsi in there, by the way.
You think so?
Is because, oh yeah, she is a woman on a mission. First of all, remember that it was Hillary Clinton that called Tulsi Gabbard a Russian asset.
Yep.
And now Tulsi gets in there. She's looking at all of these documents that have been hidden for, I guess, 8-9 years now. And so now she's looking at all the old investigations. She's finding all of these documents. And the allegations against Barack Obama, as far as Donald Trump and Trump saying that Obama committed treason, this really is, I mean, I know that this is like just another day in the life of our news cycle, but you've got a sitting president accusing a past president of treason.
Yeah, this is big stuff. And I think you're right with Tulsi being the right person for the gig. I mean, she's had it out for the DNC for years. You know, before they screwed Bernie over in that primary, after, in 2020, they did the same thing to Tulsi Gabbard. She went up there against their preferred candidate, Kamala Harris, in Detroit, Michigan, and called her out on her prosecutor record. And you could almost see the line drawn in the sand. It was like from that moment on, questions weren't directed towards Tulsi. Camera time wasn't given towards Tulsi. She saw the machine turn against her so quickly. And I think that was a very red-pilled moment for her.
I think it was. And I think that maybe that is one of the dynamics that is at play is she's now working in a Republican administration with Donald Trump, and she has the opportunity now to exact some revenge. And I think, you know, not to coin a cliche, but this time it's personal.
Yeah. And let's get into the clip from Tulsi yesterday. This was 2 days now, if you're watching on the podcast. She was at that press briefing with Carolyn Levitt, laying out all the details of this treasonous conspiracy by Obama and his cronies.
Any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former President Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
I mean, I heard that the first time, and it was just like your jaw kind of drops. You're like, that is the director of national intelligence saying, yes, I sent criminal referrals for a previous president to the DOJ for treason. What's the penalty for treason, Dan?
Well, it's death.
It's crazy.
Now, I mean,
it's, but just even, and we're both kind of in the same camp. Like, we don't really think Obama's going to go down.
There's not going to be a couple of things. Number one, there's not going to be a firing squad for Barack Obama. That's number one, obviously. But number two is I don't think that with Obama, is he really going to go to prison? I don't think that he is for a number of different reasons. Number one is this is going to go more than likely, if you look at down the line, the process is it's going to end up going to a grand jury Where's that grand jury going to be? Washington, D.C. Number one, very blue region, very blue city, Washington, D.C.
Maybe you've heard of it.
Maybe you've heard of it, yes. And number two, Donald Trump just fired half the city.
Yeah.
So I don't think a grand jury is going to come back and say, yes, Barack Obama should go to trial.
Can I tell you I'm a little bit more hopeful with a grand jury in D.C. because of who the attorney would be on the side of the government? It would be Jeanine Pirro. Do you know that?
Yeah, okay, yep.
And I think that she could make the case.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing about all of these documents and this whole narrative, because I don't even know if we've told the story yet in this podcast. We do this every single day. But bottom line is that when Barack Obama and all of his henchmen in his intelligence agencies and his law enforcement, they kept saying during the election of 2016, Trump versus Hillary, that the Russians and Vladimir Putin, not only did they not have the wherewithal to influence our elections, but they didn't even want to. They thought that Hillary was going to win. It wasn't until after Donald Trump won that suddenly everything changed, and they decided that what they were going to do was set up Donald Trump and frame him, ultimately leading to the accusation of Russian collusion, and that would tie him up for years in special counsel investigations. And really what it did is it, in a way, neutered or distracted his first couple of years in office.
Well, and I made this point on the air last week, and it holds true. Republicans were like, oh, crap, is this for real? When this story broke, it was like, okay, present the evidence because we want to find out as much as anybody else. And it's funny that that's kind of the angle we took back then. And the left now are taking a completely different angle. Like when it comes to Obama, it's just like, no, he does no wrong. He's our Lord and Savior. He could never do anything like this. They don't even want to view the evidence. CNN, they were covering the press briefing live on CNN. CNN was like, okay, I know it's the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, but don't believe her lying lips. We'll tell you the real story. They cut into her press conference to silence her voice.
Which is stunning. They didn't even want people to hear it. Let's roll that clip.
Multiple intelligence community assessments released in the months leading up to the November 2016 election concluded that Russia had neither the intent nor capability to impact the outcome of the U.S. election. On December 5th.
We've been listening there to the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, continuing on what has now been a multi-day effort, not only with public statements like this, but release of documents to attempt to back up the quite extreme allegation that President Obama is guilty of treason and that he worked in some sort of conspiracy with Hillary Clinton, etc., in the assessment by the intelligence community at the time that Russia interfered in the 2016 election.
So CNN, I mean, just give the moment some gravity. You have the Director of National Intelligence accusing a former president of treason on live TV. CNN, the worldwide leader in news, cuts away from that newsworthy moment to completely present an alternative narrative.
Well, and the crazy thing is, why would you not, if you're CNN, and despite your proclamations that, you're the worldwide leader in news or whatever it is, why would you not carry the press conference and then have someone on to give your side, the left, your side of the story in defense of Barack Obama? The other thing is, if you listen to what he said, he punctuated two words in that little 15, 20-second spiel.
When he cuts into Tulsi Gabbard's press conference.
When he cuts in, he says the attempt to, portray Obama as committing treason, and he also labeled what she was doing, Tulsi Gabbard was doing, as extreme. So I guess my question would be, CNN, if you really are a news organization and not a narrative pusher, number one, you said attempt, and the way that he hit that word attempt clearly made it seem like she was not presenting her case, when in reality, she was making a hell of a case, which, by the way, is why CNN pulled away, because she was making her case.
Yep.
That's why they pulled away. Number two is the guy said that these are, I think he said something like extreme allegations. You're right, which is why you don't pull away.
Yeah.
Because this is an extreme situation, and she has the receipts.
That's the big deal. I mean, she's bringing documents, and that's what they don't want to levy out. But yeah, Tulsi Gabbard's acting extreme. We need to pull away from this. It's like, was Merrick Garland and his DOJ acting extreme when they raided Mar-a-Lago and they rifled through Melania Trump's underwear drawer or ransacked Barron Trump's room? Was this Biden DOJ extreme when they hauled Donald Trump into a prison to get his mugshot taken? I mean, like, was any of that? That was not extreme. That's not extreme.
Well,
bring receipts and proof. That's extreme.
And here's the thing, is that if she was so extreme, if this was all so outlandish, then why didn't they stay on her? Because she would only then be acting extreme and outlandish, which would ultimately make the Trump administration look bad.
Yeah, that's a great point.
The reason why they cut away is because she had the receipts. She was making sense. That whole 10-minute
Breakdown,
presentation, it was phenomenal. And
Yes.
by the way, it's not like I've been doing talk radio for many, many, many years, and it's not like we weren't all saying all of this in 2016 and 2017. Now, though, Tulsi Gabbard has gone in there and she's, again, rooted out those receipts.
Yeah, it's awesome to watch. But it seems like the media is just running away from even attempting to cover this with any bit of honesty.
Well, they're trying to. What they're trying to do is just say, well, what Donald Trump is trying to do, what the administration is trying to do, is distract from Epstein, right? And so, for me, I would disagree.
Yeah.
This thing has been going on since 2016. The reason why it's in the news now isn't because it's an attempt at a distraction from Epstein. Actually, it's just coming close to the culmination of all of these years of lies and obfuscations from the Biden administration trying to set up Donald Trump.
The whole distraction from Epstein angle that's being pushed, I think, is just a fraud angle. Tulsi Gabbard came in and she said that she's been working on this since day one.
Mm-hmm.
They've been working on this for a very long time. There has been meetings behind the scenes, guaranteed, between Tulsi and the DOJ, Tulsi and Trump. So, and when you kind of look at what happened with Epstein, the past week, it kind of gives you a little bit more clarity into the frustration of Donald Trump. Hindsight being 2020. Again, I do believe that they've been working on this behind the scenes for a long time, and he probably knew we're zeroing in on that launch date, and then the Epstein stuff comes up, and he's like, "What the hell? We are going to be focusing over here."
Yeah.
But to say we're distracting from Epstein, how?
Well, and
how could you make that case?
Well, and here's the other thing. When they have no answer, they just say, it's just a distraction. They're trying to distract from, what is really going on. So, the left is saying that, bringing up 2016 and Obama and Russian collusion, they're saying that Trump is trying to distract from the Epstein thing, but it's really not. And the left, in my opinion, they're bringing up Epstein so passionately because they never cared about this before, right? Never cared about any of the Epstein stuff until they figured out that it is a big issue within MAGA, within the Republican Party. I believe that one of the reasons why the left is bringing this up and the media is bringing this up is because Donald Trump has so many victories.
Yeah.
And their own party, the Democrats' own party, is a complete and utter train wreck. And so they're trying to use this because it's all they've got.
And they think it's an opportunity to divide the base. But we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can disagree with Donald Trump on one issue and then support him everywhere else. It's not a cult.
We're not a cult.
That's not what we're doing. Yeah. And you can also make the case that what's he distracting from? You have Ghislaine Maxwell being subpoenaed. You have Bill and Hillary Clinton being subpoenaed. You have the House committee voting to release all the DOJ files on Epstein. So where exactly is the distraction?
Right.
What's the distraction for? We're still seeing a lot of movement on the Epstein stuff because of the anger of the base.
Well, and the stupid thing is they're sitting here, the Democrats and the media, they're trying to say, oh, Donald Trump doesn't want this information released. I'm a little confused because Donald Trump has literally said, release the information. Pam Bondi is working on it. The Republicans, Mike Johnson, has said, we will release this information in our own time.
Yeah.
They're going to release the information, he said, responsibly. And so he wants to make sure the victims are protected. And they also want to make sure that if somebody rode on Epstein's plane but had no idea what was going on, just some innocent passenger at some point, and his name might be on a flight list, it doesn't mean that he was doing what others were doing related to Epstein. So they do need to release these documents, but they do need to release these documents responsibly.
Yeah, it has to happen. And I do believe that there's going to be some level of disclosure at a certain point, and we're going to learn more. But it seems like the media's sinking their teeth into faker stories, like the Wall Street Journal saying,
Oh, my Lord.
Wall Street Journal put out a story and said, Pam Bondi informed Trump in May that he's in the Epstein files. And it's like, words matter. And it goes back to the same thing that Elon did with that tweet. Trump is in the Epstein files. Okay. But you didn't say implicated in the Epstein files.
Correct. And Trump has never, ever denied that he had a relationship
Or knew.
with Jeffrey Epstein or knew him. Oh, God. A couple of days ago, CNN never before published photos of Jeffrey Epstein at Donald Trump's 1993 wedding.
It's like those were on Reddit for years.
Yes, that's the thing. They used the word published as opposed to never before seen. Everybody had seen those photos.
Yep.
And everybody knew that Epstein was at Trump's wedding. They had, again, never seen before video of Donald Trump, standing, within arm's length of Jeffrey Epstein in a large crowd of people. And so the more that the media, the more that CNN, the more that the Democrats try to use this evidence, which really isn't evidence, it's just, anecdotal or whatever, it's not really proving anything, the more they're destroying their own credibility because they're trying to sell something that just isn't there. Real quick, and then we'll move on. You're talking about the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
And the Wall Street Journal, when they come out with this story about how Trump, drew some sort of a picture of a naked
the
woman.
Birthday card, the typewriter birthday card.
The
with
typewriter
outline,
birthday
the
card.
outline of the naked woman, and Donald Trump signed in a spot to make it look like pubic hair.
Yeah, and this ridiculous conversation, like fake who does that?
And then in the same reporting, they go, by the way, we can't let you see the card.
You know why that is? Because nobody knows where it is. Nobody can prove that this thing actually exists. So the more that they do this, the worse they look and the more they destroy their own credibility. Donald Trump has never denied having a relationship, a friendship, an acquaintanceship, whatever you want to say.
Knowing the guy.
Yeah, knowing the guy. He's never denied that. And there were people in my wedding who, and you probably had the same thing. I knew them. We invited them, and they were there.
I'm surprised you showed up.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I just think the whole thing is ridiculous. And the last thing I'll say about it, don't forget what some of the lawyers have said that were dealing with the Epstein thing back in 2016, 17. Donald Trump was the only guy.
Yep, Bradley Edwards.
Bradley Edwards,
he
that's
represented
right.
70 Epstein victims. He said Trump was the only guy.
Yeah, Trump was the only guy that said, you know what, come on in. We're going to sit down. We're going to talk. I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about, Epstein that I know. What can I do to help? Trump was the only guy. If he had anything to hide, he wouldn't have done that.
No, and the Democrats would have exposed anything that they had on Donald Trump. They tried to lock him up. They tried to bankrupt him. They tried to kill him. You think that they wouldn't have selectively released information on Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein?
Exactly. By the way, how bad are things for the Democrats these days? Can we talk about Hunter Biden real quick?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about stealing the show? Earlier this week, Hunter Biden had an interview with, I don't remember who it was, a podcaster.
It was like Channel 5 podcast or something like that.
Yeah.
Channel 5 News podcast.
But it was
a barn burner.
It was profanity laced, and he just went on and on about I think, Chris, he's more pissed off at the Democrats than he is the Republicans.
And I think that if this version of Hunter was actually serious about politics, I think that a lot of the leftist base would get behind him.
I think so too. I actually think so
because
too.
of how unhinged and crazy they are. But he went on this rant about immigration that is pretty much belongs in the Louvre, I think you could say.
Absolutely.
It belongs in the Louvre. Play that clip for me, Mason.
For someone, am I going to be like all these Democrats say, you have to talk about and realize that people are really upset about illegal immigration. Fuck you. How do you think your hotel room gets cleaned? How do you think you got food on your fucking table? Who do you think washes your dishes? Who do you think does your fucking garden? Who do you think is here by the fucking sheer fucking just grit and will that they figured out a way to get here because they thought that they could give themselves and their family a better chance. And he's somehow convinced all of us that these people are the fucking criminals?
Yeah, somehow. Well, they did break a law to enter the country.
Yeah, there's that.
But he really is. It's like two strategies wrapped into one. It's blame Trump. We need the illegal aliens for slave labor.
Yeah,
and then it's a dash of the ghetto-centric Jasmine Crockett with the foul language.
Well, and I don't know who's got the foulest mouth, whether it is Gavin Newsom or Hunter Biden, but I liked what Tom Homan said. The first drug addict.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But he's completely conveniently put aside the whole, who's gonna pick your crops. Remember when Nancy Pelosi? Forget about or put that aside, and just talk about what exactly it is that we have been experiencing in America at the hands of illegal aliens. Over just last week, we had an off-duty Border Patrol officer shot in the face.
Yep.
And so it's real convenient to talk about, who's going to put food on your table. You can say that all you want, but the reality is that there are real world consequences to his dad, Joe Biden, and his open border policies.
I hate the who's going to put food on your table narrative. And the Democrats have been really laying into that one heavy, especially after we saw the farm busted in California. But the number of illegal aliens, the percentage of illegal aliens that are actually farm workers, 3%. 3%.
And you can get visas for those people.
Yes,
just
100%.
update the visas. It's not that hard.
You could figure it out. Or I liked what you were talking about earlier today. Focus on automation. You focus on automation, you're gonna solve a lot of these problems.
Elon, get on it.
Yeah, it should be that simple, right?
Yeah.
But these same people will defend the farm workers. It's the backbone of America. But then when a weed farm is raided, and you find out that the Democrats are still pushing the same narrative. Oh, how could they raid a farm? It's like you find out that there are illegal alien child sex offenders working next to kids in forced labor on this weed farm.
Yeah.
And that's who the Democrats are, defending.
It's been a long-running narrative from the Democrats. Who's going to clean your toilets?
Kelly
Who's going
Osbourne.
to wash your dishes?
Yep.
Who's going to, all these things. And it's like, they're so incredibly insulting to this large group of people that the reality is, and you and I have both talked about this, the reality is that they need illegal immigration because they want more representation in Congress. They end up in the large blue cities, and ultimately that means that they get more representation in the House of Representatives. We could talk about all of that.
And they're also just, a lot of those blue cities are stopping the bleeding because we see that those individuals are fleeing those states,
Mass
those
exodus.
cities, and coming to places like this, Nashville, Tennessee.
I remember Gavin Newsom the other couple of weeks ago, where he was being interviewed by Sean Ryan.
That's right.
Here in Franklin. And Gavin Newsom is like, hey, I don't know. Hey, Mason, can we grab that real quick? The Gavin Newsom audio with Sean Ryan. Let's watch that real quick, and then I'll comment on that on the other side.
Did you come here to hang out with the 92,000 Californians? Then
you go. You hit me right there, man. The California exit. By the way, complete bullshit. Now, the last 2 years, we've seen significant growth in California's population. So it's reversed and record-breaking tourism. Now the fourth largest economy in the world. We dominate in every major industry, including the number one manufacturing state in America, 41% larger than the next largest state. And so we're really proud of California. And we went through a little rocky period over a 2-year period where there was some adjustments all across the country, one of 18 states, many red states too, not just blue states, that saw an adjustment of population during COVID. And now we're on the other side of that, seeing population growth back-to-back years.
Well, it's impressive. California is an impressive state.
So I love how he's sitting here talking about Gavin Newsom, how he's talking about, California, we've had a large influx of people over the last 2 years. Well, they're all illegal aliens, man.
Yeah.
So-
Have you had an influx?
They lost Joe Rogan and people like Joe Rogan and Elon Musk
Yep.
and people and me, by the way, many years ago.
You were ahead of the curve.
And I was 15, 18, 20 years ago, whatever it's been now. But you have all of these people that have left California, and during Gavin Newsom's reign, mind you, and over the last 2 years, a bunch of illegal aliens.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on in California. I don't even know how we got to this.
The
but
cost of a U-Haul out of California is like 10 times the amount of a cost of a U-Haul going into California.
Yep, that's exactly
Because
right.
they can't get the inventory back, the U-Haul guys, because so many people are fleeing the state.
Yep, that is exactly right. So you have that.
We kind of got into this because of the Hunter Biden stuff. We were talking about Hunter Biden and immigration because he gave that interview on Channel 5 News.
Right.
The podcast, a profanity-laced interview. Did you hear the revelation that he made during that interview, though, where he said Joe Biden has been on Ambien?
Yeah, let's play that and talk about that on the other
I've
side.
never seen somebody so excited for Ambien revelations before.
Ambien Joe. Let's hear it.
I know exactly what happened in that debate. He flew around the world, basically, and the mileage that he could have flown around the world 3 times.
Yeah.
He's 81 years old. He's tired as shit. They give him Ambien to be able to sleep. He gets up on the stage, and he looks like he's a deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, Ambien is to help you sleep, and Sleepy Joe needs no help in sleeping.
Oh, my gosh. All he needs is 30 seconds on a beach in a lounge chair, and he's good
Yeah.
to go. That's it.
Well, and you'll notice that he immediately called ABC News and said, yeah, that whole Ambien thing, I was just kidding. Because, the side effect with Ambien is it impacts your thinking, and there's side effects that if you look at the duties of a president and you're on Ambien, then it's like, oh my gosh, a president should not be on Ambien because it impacts your judgment and, from what I understand, I think your behavior too.
Oh.
So, yeah, you shouldn't be on Ambien if you're the president of the United States. That's why you had Hunter Biden that was so quick to say, after the crap was hitting the fan, you had so many people say, oh, really? The president was on Ambien.
Yeah, I'm surprised how many high-profile Democrats we've had medical revelations about this week.
Yep.
Joe Biden on Ambien, Hillary Clinton on heavy tranquilizers.
Heavy tranquilizers.
Not heavy enough.
Yeah, and to go back a step, just to put that Hillary Clinton thing in perspective, going back real quick to the Russian collusion accusations against Obama, where Tulsi Gabbard says, oh, yeah, Hillary Clinton, according to the DNC and their correspondence, Hillary Clinton was on heavy tranquilizers.
Yes.
She had a lot of health problems. She was, it sounds like manic.
Yep.
She
Like
had
bipolar,
severe
ups and downs.
She had like severe anger issues and
she was like at times too happy.
Which
feel
is
like
crazy.
That would be the most terrifying version of Hillary Clinton. If you're used to angry Hillary coming in and storming and making a fuss,
Yeah.
if all of a sudden happy Hillary walked through the door,
Yep.
it's terrifying.
It would be terrifying.
But it all goes back to the media not telling the truth
Yep.
about the stories and us, guys like us, debunking the fake lies of the media on our radio shows and online.
Yep.
And we see it time and time again. We saw it with Hunter Biden and his laptop. And in that same interview that Hunter Biden gave with Channel 5 News, he brought up the infamous laptop. And I don't know, how much cocaine do you think Hunter Biden was on during this interview?
The second I saw this interview, I thought, dude's got to be on crack.
He has to be. And he talks about crack in the interview. He says, actually.
He gave a lesson on how to, I guess, I probably couldn't pick out crack in a lineup.
You've never cooked crack?
Never cooked crack. But you know what? If I ever need to learn, I can turn to Hunter Biden's interview.
But he did. He talked about his infamous laptop. I want to play that clip real quick, the laptop clip from Hunter Biden.
Who thinks this is right?
Who thinks it's right that every picture that you've ever taken, the ones that you would be embarrassed by and the ones that you would be proud of, should be on a website controlled by a guy that is a Christo-fascist fucking incel that lives in Indiana or Illinois? I forget which one.
Let's hope Indiana, because it's worse.
And so, but again, I get these discussions where, well, their laptop really doesn't exist, but what is it? Like, you go down these rabbit holes and you do exactly what they say. As long as they say laptop loud enough, often enough, you automatically, and Hunter Biden, crack cocaine, and, here's the picture, and here he is shirtless smoking crack in a bathtub, and, I keep flashing that over and over again, and I say Hunter Biden, laptop, Ukraine, China, Hunter Biden, laptop, bird flu. Like, literally, you keep doing that over and over and over again? What, none of it bears any resemblance to reality.
Yeah, I don't think reality is Hunter Biden's strong suit, but I guess what we did learn is if you keep repeating it, Hunter Biden, laptop, crack, Ukraine, China, what you get is 51 intelligence agents signing off on a letter calling it Russian disinformation.
Yeah, and here's the thing. The reason why this was such a big deal is because you, Hunter Biden, had a laptop full of this stuff, including pictures of you with prostitutes, you doing drugs, you taping conversations with, all of these folks. And
wasn't he threatening Chinese business associates?
Yes, he was.
He's like, I'm sitting next to the big guy right now.
That's exactly right. So he can sit here and talk in dismay about how, I don't know why people think the laptop is such a big deal. The laptop was such a big deal is because not only in addition to all of those pictures of drugs and prostitutes and all that kind of stuff, there was also evidence of you trying to profit off of the influence of your father.
Yep.
The receipts were there.
10% for the big guy.
10% for the big guy. So he can be all dismayed all he wants, but the reality is there are a lot of very legit reasons why that laptop was so important and why it did, and whether we're talking about, Joe Biden himself or the media or, polite Washington, D.C., but everybody did their best to bury that story, and it did impact the election.
Yeah,
absolutely,
100%.
It impacted the election.
100%. And I think it goes back to why, we're so upset now about the Obamagate stuff. It's because we've seen the media lie to us over and over and over again.
Yep.
And it's like we're doing it again. And I think that's why a lot of people are blackpilled on nothing happening,
Yep.
As it just seems like anytime Republicans get a little bit of power, we're banging the drum, just like Comer was with the laptop and the Biden crime family, and that's what comes of it.
Yeah, and here's the thing, is that when your father is the president of the United States or the vice president or a senator, then you flying around trying to sell that influence, peddle that influence, you have made yourself part of the story. You have made yourself part of that Biden apparatus, whether you realize it or not. He'd never realized, obviously, that the contents of his laptop would be seen, but it was all there. You did that to yourself. Oh, and by the way, you're the jackass that also left it in the Delaware computer repair shop for 3 months.
You could have picked it up, and none of this would have been a story.
That's the funniest damn thing. He left it there.
One of the theories I saw online was that he was really mad at his dad, and he was like, "Screw him. I hope somebody finds this." And I was like, that was the only thing that ever made sense to me why he never went and picked it up.
Yeah, maybe
But he's defending his dad today, so I don't know how much weight it holds. I will say this: Kevin O'Leary, he kind of puts a cherry on top about how you should deal with Hunter Biden.
Well, hold on. Do we want to play the George Clooney cut real quick?
Oh yeah, we can do the George Clooney.
Can we roll real quickly, Mason, the George Clooney cut where Hunter goes off on George?
Jorge.
Yes.
But him, and everybody around him. I don't have to be nice. George Clooney is not a actor. He is a I don't know what he is. He's a brand. You. What do you have to do with anything? Why do I have to listen to you? What right do you have to step on a man who's given 52 years of his life to the service of this country and decide that you, George Clooney, are going to take out basically a full-page ad New York Times to undermine the president at a time in which, by the way, what do people care about the most? Why do you think that the Republicans have an advantage over us? Because they're unified. They will go along with anything. I wasn't asking anybody to go along with anything. I was asking people to go along with this. The most successful administration in my lifetime.
So successful.
Yeah, I love how he says, do you know why the Republicans have an advantage over us? It's because they're unified.
Like, what are you talking about? Have you seen us this past couple weeks?
Well, that's number one. But number two, the reasons why the Republicans are unified, theoretically, is because his dad screwed up the country for 4 years.
No, that's not what he said. He said that it was the most successful administration.
Again, he's back on crack.
He's back on crack.
All right, so let's play. I mean, that's too easy. First of all, the thing that I said on the air, and I'll repeat here, when he says, George Clooney is not an actor, I would say that George Clooney is more of an actor than you are a painter.
Oh.
That's what I would say to him.
Boom, roasted.
All right, let's go ahead and roll that
Kevin O'Leary
clip.
Kevin O'Leary really is the cherry on top for how Hunter Biden should be dealt with this recent interview. And Kevin O'Leary says it in a way that everybody can agree with.
I mean, whether you like Biden or you don't, and I understand the last few years of his mandate it had big issues that were not addressed in that interview. But you got to remember, he was a lawmaker for decades and a respected one, even if you didn't believe in his policies. But this is, in my view, if this was my son, I'd take him behind the barn with a stick and I'd beat him.
Wow. So you've seen the cussing ones.
You just don't do. The family brand is being trashed. That's my view. And I think that's a horrible way to end it for the original Biden.
Let me ask you this.
Can the family brand be salvaged?
No, it can't. That's number one. But number two, I think the reason why Hunter has had so many problems is because Joe Biden, as a father, did not take him behind the barn and beat him with a stick.
Yeah.
There's clearly, Hunter Biden, it seems to me, was never held accountable for his actions. That's what it feels like to me.
I mean, there's some childhood trauma there on some level.
In fairness, his mother died.
His mother died. Dad gets together with the nanny. The accusations that we saw from Ashley Biden's diary, how far did that stretch across the family?
Yep.
On a certain level, I do feel kind of bad for the guy, but then the rest of me takes over and says, screw it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obvious that he has had a lot of problems for a lot of years. When you look at the behavior where he ends up hooking up with Beau Biden's widow.
Yeah, like what is that about?
What are you doing,
you
dude?
Get your brother's ex-wife, like sleeping with you is bad enough, but then you get her hooked on crack.
Yes.
He got her hooked on crack cocaine.
Yeah.
And then there's other disturbing allegations that they're with him and the nieces and all sorts of stuff. I mean, nothing's been confirmed, but it's just like there's got to be a lot of trauma.
But here's the deal: is that in that audio bite that we just played, he also took out the people like James Carville and some of the people. I think he mentioned David Axelrod. I think he did, and so his point is actually well taken, where he's calling out the old guard in the Democrat Party who forced his dad from the race. There he's actually got a legit complaint because ultimately Nancy Pelosi and all them folks, they did force Joe Biden out of the race. But why did they force Joe Biden out of the race? Because Biden had a horrible debate performance. That's number one. And number two, you couldn't deny that America was in really bad shape during the 4 years of Biden's reign of terror. I mean, the open borders, the illegal alien gang members that came across our southern border. We could go through all of that. The inflation up over 9%.
Yeah, I mean we
the
talked
failed
about
pull
it.
out of Afghanistan.
We talked about it during the campaign too. It's like, with Trump versus Biden the first time, Biden's record really was Obama's record and Trump had his record. But the second time, I mean, after seeing what Biden did over those 4 years, it was never going to be a contest.
Yeah, never. And I think that there was so much ammunition for President Trump when he was going up against Joe Biden, that Biden couldn't defend his record. Biden was not mentally able to defend his record. He didn't have the cognitive abilities to defend his record. Of course, it turned out Kamala Harris couldn't either.
No. But Biden didn't even have the cognitive ability to remember the executive orders that he had signed.
Right.
There was conversation with Mike Johnson. And he's like,
"Oh yeah,
you signed that." He's like, "No, I didn't."
Well, maybe next week we'll go through the auto pen.
Yeah, maybe it was the auto pen.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that we've been teasing a topic on the podcast.
Yes.
Brigitte Macron and Candace Owens.
Yes.
Brigitte's penis.
Mm-hmm.
You've been looking forward to talking about this, Dan.
Oh, I've been thrilled to talk about this. So
it's like one of those like ancillary topics that like conservative circles are definitely discussing, but it's not a main. It's not a main topic A.
I just don't understand. So Candace Owens, she is trying to make the case that Brigitte Macron is a man.
Yeah.
Now,
the case that she's making is that the First Lady of France was born a male, and she often alleges that the brother of Brigitte, Jean-Michel Trudeau, that's her brother, is actually her. And there was a little bait and switch at one point.
So Candace Owens did like this 8-part series. I think she called it Becoming Brigitte.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Becoming Brigitte.
Brigitte. And so she has laid it all out there. Candace Owens, as a matter of fact, I think we have this audio bite where she comes out and she says that she is staking her reputation, her credibility on this story, making the case that the wife of Emmanuel Macron is actually a man.
You were born a man and you will die a man. That's the point I'm making. So give us a sample. I'll send my doctors to take your blood. Figure it out real quick, however you want to go about this. Hey, how about just giving us some pictures again of you growing up, raising your children? That would be fine. For whatever reason, to phone, by the way, like I said, we'll get to the bottom of it, right? That is what Discovery is for. We're going to ask a lot of questions. You're probably hoping, this will go away, and at least we'll say we sued her. We'll say we went after her. She'll probably file for this to get dismissed. I'd like to make it to Discovery. I think that we owe that to the world. Anyways, you guys, we are revolting against this. We're revolting against the perverts that run the world. And I want to be very clear here. I count you among them. I think you're sick. I think you're disgusting. And I am fully prepared to take on this battle on behalf of the entire world. Okay? That's what I'm going to say. On behalf of the entire world, I will see you in court.
Not all heroes wear capes.
So
she's taking up the battle for the world, Dan.
I guess. So here's the deal. I got a couple of things on this. Number one is, why is this the battle? And I'm telling you right now, I don't know. So if you want to red pill me in the comments, go ahead.
Yeah, by all means. Yeah, tell us in the comments what you think.
But why is this the battle for Candace Owens? Why is this the battle that she is going to put her reputation and her credibility on? That's number one. And number two, she talks about how Brigitte Macron is, I guess, a pervert. That's what she's saying?
At, yeah.
Well, I mean, I could go independent and talk about, well, this is, two consenting adults. Is there any?
But they weren't always two consenting adults.
We're gonna get into that.
They weren't always two consenting adults.
We're gonna get into that. But is there any indication that Brigitte Macron has done anything illegal?
No.
Okay.
Not that I know.
So
of.
what's the point? Like, what is the point? I don't know. We pick our battles.
Yeah,
Why is Candace Owens is brilliant at what she does.
She is.
Why is she doing this? I don't understand.
I think she has fun. I think she chooses stories that like really interest her. Maybe she's got a touch of the tism and she gets hyper focused on this stuff. But I think that she's got plenty of money. She's not looking for a meal ticket. She's just.
I know. One of the things that people are saying is that, she's making money off of this. I mean, she's got the 8-part series. People are going to her podcast. She was selling, I think it was shirts that says, Time Magazine Man of the Year, Brigitte Macron. I mean.
Okay, but just because she's making money off of this doesn't mean that she needs to make money off of this. That's still a different point. I think she's choosing stories based on her own interests and stuff that she like. that tickles her fancy. You know what I mean? Like she saw this story, she thought it was interesting. She goes, I'll dig into this. And I think that the more she dug in, the more she finds stuff that she thinks is a little bit alarming or red flags, or the more she doesn't find stuff. I mean, one of the things that they really point to is that there's an absence of photographs of Brigitte Macron before the age of 30. And they suggest this is suspicious. It's similar to what happens with Michelle Obama. Try and find a photo of Michelle Obama pregnant. You can't do it. So it's a lot of the same kind of talking points. But
well, okay, so Brigitte Macron, they have submitted for evidence because there is another lawsuit around this, and they have apparently all kinds of photos of Brigitte Macron in grade school, in high school, school photos, and that kind of a thing. So according to the evidence that she submitted, there are an abundance of photos. Now, she's given birth to 3 children.
Well, there's that.
And so, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, but I mean, there are birth certificates, and Brigitte Macron, she has a birth certificate as well, proving that she was born a female. So there is that. Whole thing with her.
Are there videos of the delivery?
No, because there was way before they started. Oh, stop it! You do have the brother has come out and said,
I'm the brother.
Here.
I'm the
me.
brother.
I exist." And he's actually said that he's spoken out about this as well, telling Candace Owens to stop. The court, by the way, there was another defamation case.
Yes, but it's not just the brother that told Candace Owens to stop.
Mm-hmm.
She got a phone call from President Trump asking her to stop. Macron touched base with Trump, who then touched base with Candace Owens and begged her to stop. And I don't know about you, but that to me is like pretty sus. Why would you need to talk to the president of the United States to shut down a podcaster? It just and it seems like one of those things like if you just ignore it, if you go, I'm not wasting any of my time with this, I feel like the story would go away. I think it's like the adamant denials and then weird stories like Trump calling Candace to ask her to stop talking about Macron that gives this more fire. Play the clip of Candace talking about her phone call with Trump.
Anyways, I sleep on that. Anger is subsiding. Wake up the next morning. It's February 26th, and I am sitting in the makeup chair, and I get another message that's like, hey, keep your phone on. And I'm going, I really don't want to speak to this advisor anymore. I really don't. Where our personalities are not meshing. And anyways, this phone call is coming from Florida. I pick up the phone, and lo and behold, so here's what happened. I'm negotiating this thing. I'm negotiating Ukraine and Russia, and you wouldn't believe how many parts are part. It is President Donald J. Trump. He is calling me, and in true President Trump fashion, he jumps right into the narrative. We're not, hey, how you doing? He just jumps right into the narrative of exactly how this went down. I am literally, it is hard to catch my breath to comprehend that 4 days ago, I'm ending a series about Brigitte Macron, and now I'm speaking to the President of the United States, and the topic of conversation, no matter which way you want to slice it, it's about Macron's wife's penis. I mean, there's no other way to say it, right? And so he just jumps right into the narrative. He's like, I'm negotiating. You wouldn't believe how many pieces this person wants this person, and this person wants this, and you have no idea how much is involved when you're trying to get one of these deals done, Anyways, I have Macron. I like Macron. We're speaking at the White House, and I'm walking him to his car. And, he says to me, Mr. President, can I speak to you for a second? I say, of course you can speak to me about anything. What's going on? And he tells me that there's Secret Service all around them. There's SUVs. They're encircled. And Macron wants to have a little sidebar. And then Macron says to him, Mr. President, do you know Candace Owens? And I say, Yes, of course I know Candace Owens. What's going on? And then the president says to me, you must be a very powerful person, Candace. We're talking about the president of France taking me aside to talk about your podcast. And then he continues his narrative, and he tells me that Emmanuel Macron is requesting to his face that I stop speaking about his wife. And one of the things Trump said is he tells me, she's old, and this is really, really impacting her.
So, couple of things.
I mean, you tell me, though, does that add more fuel to the fire that this is true?
Does it give it more credibility if Emmanuel Macron is asking President Trump to talk to Candace Owens?
Yes.
Does it add to its credibility? I will say that I think that Brigitte Macron? Brigitte.
Yep.
Whatever.
Trump called Candace Owens to talk about her penis.
I think that Emmanuel is trying to make his wife happy. I think
the same wife that decked him on that airplane.
The same. Yeah, he doesn't want to get hit again. But no, I think he's trying to appease his wife.
Okay.
I think Emmanuel, this is the last conversation he ever wanted to have with Donald Trump. Can you tell Candace Owens to stop talking about my penis or my wife's penis?
Please, Mr. Trump.
Please. But I think that he is. I think that Brigitte is clearly angry at Candace Owens. Candace Owens, she's got a huge following.
Yeah.
And she is an important voice. And so for Candace Owens, she is amplifying this, if you want to call it a conspiracy theory or whatever, but she is amplifying this. And so I think that Emmanuel is being forced to speak to Trump about this. I think he's trying to make his wife happy because Brigitte is clearly pissed.
That very well could be the case. And to your point, Candace does have a lot of followers. She's got a huge following, massive audience, and she's got a lot of people believing her. In fact, do you know that Joe Rogan believes Candace Owens, that Brigitte Macron is a man? Listen to this.
What is that?
Yeah.
That's a weird relationship, man.
But she was his teacher.
If it was a she.
Oh, yeah, there's a whole thing.
Bro, Candace Owens did 5 hours on it.
That's a little bit crazy.
Well, yeah, she's the wrong dog to go after you.
Right.
But the fucking Brigitte Macron one is the craziest because I think she's right. Obviously, I don't know. But at the end of the day, the first thing you have to say is, what kind of a 40-year-old dates a 14-year-old?
Right.
That's crazy.
Well, that's the thing.
Even if it's a woman and a man. Macron's married to a man. A man who bitch slapped him in a private jet.
Oh, my God. Really? Dude, his whole life he's been abused by that guy.
Face palm in his face. I want to know. I mean, take a fucking test. It's not hard. If I was her, I would say, listen, you motherfuckers, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a chromosome test. I am not a man. I'm just a pedophile.
Yeah. What?
I'm not a man. I'm just a pedophile. Wouldn't that make it all go away if she just took a test?
It would be. That would absolutely put it to rest. But I think for Brigitte, she doesn't want to dignify or give any more credence to this accusation. By the way,
in that clip, though, where he said that guy's been abusing that guy his whole life.
Yeah.
I'm not a man. I'm just a pedophile.
He was 15. She was 39. When the parents found out about how Emmanuel
was being groomed,
they actually sent him off to boarding school.
To get him away from that crazy woman.
To get him away from Brigitte.
His predator.
And then he said, I will come find you. And they reconnected again. He was 29 and she was 54. And so that's when they had 15, 20, about 14 years where they were not together. There was that very familiar story.
That pesky family of hers got in the way.
Pesky family got in the way. Yeah, she had 3 kids and a husband. And so, and listen, I'm not saying that it's normal. I'm not excusing the behavior of Brigitte Macron.
Of a predator.
A predator.
Grooming a student.
Grooming a 15-year-old. I'm not defending that, but I just, at this point, they've been married for a long time. I'm having a hard time connecting with the fact that she is being accused by Candace Owens of having a penis. But now.
So you're more in the Joe Rogan camp, not a pedophile. I mean, excuse me, not a man, just a pedophile.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I would. That is. I'm comfortable of saying is that she was grooming a 15-year-old boy, and they were separated, and then they got back together when he was 29, she was 54, and she still has one hell of a right hook.
She does have a hell of a right hook.
So, and by the way, real quick, there was a previous defamation case
that got tossed, right?
It got tossed, not on the merits of the case, but because it didn't meet the threshold of criminal defamation. That's what it was. So
do you think that they'll be able to position this case against Candace as criminal defamation?
No, because Brigitte Macron is a public figure, and she is and Candace Owens has free speech. And you know what? Here's the other thing, and this probably means nothing legally, but if Brigitte Macron is so passionate that she is sending about this, that she is sending her husband to speak to the president of the United States.
To speak to Candace.
Then take a test.
Honestly.
That's all you got to do is take a test. Now, all that to say, I don't know why this is the hill that Candace Owens wants to die on. I don't understand it at all. But Brigitte, girlfriend or boyfriend, take a test.
Girlfriend.
Whatever you are.
Whatever you are. It could all be solved in a matter of mere moments.
It could. Now, how does this whole thing end? Because now they are suing Candace Owens.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we got to that.
No, yeah, they're suing her. They're suing her.
Yeah, and Candace Owens has a lot to lose. So
she's been expecting the lawsuit for a while, though.
She's been itching for you just in that clip. She's itching for a lawsuit because she wants discovery.
I know, it's just so based.
Lift up your skirt.
Lift it up.
I think we should probably end right there.
Is that how you want to end it, on Lift It Up?
I think that's how we want to end it. Lift it up. Follow me on X at Dan Manda Show. Listen to my radio show 6 to 10 Eastern, 5 to 9 Central on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're on all the socials. We're on all the streaming platforms as well.
Yeah, you can find me at Chris Hand on air. And please, if you like the video, share it with your friends. Make sure to hit that like button, comment below, add to the conversation, and we'll be doing another one of these next week.
See you next time.